Hello and welcome to our season review of the 2019 FIM Motocross World Championship. I'm Paul Malin, and with the help of Lisa Leyland, it's time to take you through all the best action from the year gone by, starting with Jorge Prado's defence of his MX2 title.
After a long, dark winter, we are here in the picturesque town of Vila La Angostura, which can only mean one thing. This is Patagonia, and we are ready for the first round of the 2019 MXGP season.
I had a very good pre-season training. We did very good training in Sardinia, then we went back to Rome. We did very good tests and then some pre-season races as well that helped me to get some confidence coming to the World Championship. And it was very good compared to last year's where I got injured and stuff. This year was way easier, way better at the same time because I could do the program 100% and that helped me a lot during the season as well.
The first gate drop of 2019. Tom Vial set Tom's wagon after being chosen as Red Bull KTM's latest recruit in the off-season, but quickly made his mark with a career first foxhole shot, although the Frenchman was powerless to prevent defending champion Jorge Prado sweeping through and into control of the race, with Husqvarna's Thomas Kjær Olsen the best of the rest. A little further back, and another debutant was also enjoying himself. Mitch Evans signed up with the Honda 114 Motorsport team for the season and made steady progress, past both Jago Kietz and Vial into 5th place. Out front though, and Prado eased his way to a first race win of the season ahead of Olsen, with Henry Jacobi impressing in 3rd on his F&H Racing Kawasaki. In race 2, Olsen again made his way through traffic before eventually passing Evans for 2nd place. Evans held on for 3rd in the race and the overall. There was no stopping Prado though. The Spaniard opened up his title defence with a dominant display.
I think it was very good to get that first moto win and first 2 moto wins actually this year and the first GP win as well. It's a big confidence boost for the rest of the season. So it was very important for me, to know that we made a good work in the winter and that we were prepared to face the next races.
For my podium in Argentina, we were quietly confident, but at the same time, we really didn't know where I was gonna be. We weren't overly surprised, but we were still super excited with it.
After Argentina, we went back to the facility in Rome. We made a very good training, but in one of the trainings I made quite a big crash and I hurt myself. I had like an hematoma underneath the shoulder blade, and for some reason I couldn't breathe. It was between the lungs as well, so there was something there that was not really perfect, and the healing process was very slowly, and the thing is that I couldn't do anything to make it go faster, so I just had to let it heal and rest.
Here we are in the lush Hampshire countryside. Peace and quiet is the order of the day here at Avington Trout Fishery. But just over there is Matterley Basin, the home of the MXGP of Great Britain since 2006.
In Matterley I went 1-1 and that was just an amazing weekend. Everything just played out for me that weekend. I think I won the qualifying moto and both motos, so something I never done before, and it was just an amazing feeling.
In Prado's absence, that was enough to give the Dane possession of the precious red plate.
Here we are in the southeastern corner of the Netherlands. Green fields and cute villages dominate the landscape, but this is the calm before the storm. Welcome to Valkenswaard, the home of the MXgp of the Netherlands.
I didn't expect to dominate the next round after the comeback, after the injury. I was very impressed also because of the no training for let it heal. So it was impressive to come back and win both motos. It was also for me good for the confidence, as I knew that if having an injury and coming back without training and I still could win, that I was in a good level.
Prado's 61 machine was an easy winner in both races in the cold sand of Valkenswaard, leaving Olsen trailing in his roost and cutting his championship lead. To make matters worse for Olsen, Khmer Yamaha's Jago Geerts mugged him on the final jump in race 2 to snatch second place and also grab a first podium of the season, ahead of Team HRC's Calvin Verlanderen.
Marco was a good track for me, first GP win over there. Every year I go there, I'm on the podium, so it's a special track. And I was coming very positive, and after a win in the previous round, I was hoping for a very good result, and finally we also could go 1-1 over there.
Prado cut Olsen's championship lead down to 20 points heading into a 5-week break. But it was Jago Geerts who emerged as the best of the rest in Trentino, furthering his credentials as a serious contender. Meanwhile, Mitch Harrison had jetted over from the USA to take up a seat with Bud Racing Kawasaki and found life very different on this side of the pond.
The main differences racing here and back in the States is that it seems like the start is more of a crucial point to the race. If I get a bad start here, it's hard to get back into the top 15, where in America you can definitely get back in the top 10. Also, the way you set up your suspension, here you have to set it up a lot softer, where in America you have to have more of a hard, stiffer setting. I'm figuring it out one by one, but definitely the starts is the major thing. I can learn a lot more over here. It can make me a better rider, and really I can grow as a person. So I'd like to be over here for 2020.
An epic mudder awaited in Mantova. A pair of hole shots were crucial as Jorge Prado left the carnage behind him to claim another 1-1.
The start in Mantova this year was crucial. That was the main goal, to make a perfect start and then try to ride clean, no crashes, because the track was very, very tough. A lot of water on the track, a lot of ruts, and you had to also be careful with your bike, save it till the end, and the starts were crucial.
Hold on to your hats, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Mxgp of Portugal.
Since Arco, I've had this problem in my foot, and it's definitely holding me back. I'm not 100% at all. I've only had, I think, 2 trainings on the bike before I could ride in Mantova, so it's actually infected, the foot, inflamed, and last week I found out it's infected. So one thing is it needs rest, and that rest is tough now because we don't have that many weeks available to rest.
Well, in Portugal, that second moto, I had a very good start, and then Mitch Evans was behind me. I made a small mistake already in the third corner, and he passed me. I was behind him and he had a good pace. Then I saw some good lines. I could pass him back, and finally we even, I think, put a little bit away, not too much, but you know, he did a very good moto. I didn't expect him to be that close, as he in the previous rounds didn't ride like in the top 2, top 3 positions, so it was quite impressive. Yeah, it was great to get the red plate back in Portugal, especially in front of my fans, as a lot of people came from Spain to Portugal to support me, so it was great to get it back.
We'll now quickly pack up and head north for next week's MXGP of France at Saint-Jean-d'Angely.
In the first moto in France, Joe Geerts got me 2 laps ago. It was a very, well, strange moto for me, as I started first and I was leading for the whole moto. Probably in the last laps lost a bit of the concentration. I mean, I probably could have pushed a little bit harder, and then so he couldn't pass me. But at that point, you know, I lost that a bit of concentration, and he got me. So once he got me, I tried to get him back, and I came very close in the last lap, but I couldn't make the pass. But anyway, I go to second moto, won that moto, and won the overall. So it was still a great weekend. I think that first moto with Iago was one of the motos that I remember that I could remember for the whole season. It was a reminder to keep pushing, and nothing comes easy. You gotta work hard for your moto wins. It was a lesson.
We're here in Olyanok for the 3rd consecutive year for what promises to be an intriguing weekend.
Russia was a very tough race as well. First moto, I got a pretty bad start. I think I was around the 20th positions right after the start when I crossed the finish line, and then I had to come back to first in the last 2 laps to go. So it was a great first moto, and then I could win also that second moto, and it was a great weekend.
Darian Sanai, still suffering the effects of the Epstein-Barr virus, was the fastest out of the gate and led the race for 13 minutes on his Bike-It DRT Kawasaki before understandably starting to fade. Olsen took advantage but was still no match for Prado, whose lead was now cut to 20 points at the top of the MX2 standings. A week later at Kegums in Latvia, and Jorge Prado was once again the Sandmaster, with Geerts on the second step of the box. Olsen was pushed down to 3rd.
Whatever next? This is the MXGP of Germany.
It's really special to ride in my home GP. I live quite close here, and it's very special. A lot of people, a lot of fans are coming out, and it's the first year where I'm like fan favorite #1 here, and it's going to be a special weekend.
Race 1 in Teutschenthal, and the Red Bull KTM again pounced out of the gate with Mitch Evans tucked in behind. Henry Jacobi was determined as ever and moved up to 3rd as the Aussie struggled. Evans' day then went from bad to worse after getting cross-rutted and thrown into the face of a jump. The number 43 was down and out as Prado eased to yet another race win, with Vial a distant second. Into race 2, and Jacobi pushed too hard after a poor start. This mistake dropped the German to 13th. Matej Boromei, who was starting to find his feet in MX2 after taking the EMX 250 title in 2018, moved past Vial into 2nd. Jacoby, meanwhile, got caught up in a tangle with teammate Adam Sterry as he made his way back through the field. Prado, though, was in a class of his own as he eased to a 17th race win of the season. Tom Vial was really starting to blossom, while French compatriot Guarame found himself on the box for the first time in his MX2 career. The lead was now 44 points at the top of the standings, with Olsen parked 90 points ahead of the scrap for third. 2 weeks later, and the MXGP paddock found itself in Palembang for the first leg of an Indonesian doubleheader.
In Palembang this year, the first moto was quite hard, and halfway I had a small crash. So then Tom, my teammate, passed me and he pulled a bit away, so I really want to win that moto, and I really push and I get him, I pass him and won that moto, and that second moto was very special. I mean, I think it was the most special moto of the year. I was leading, I think, the first lap, made a small mistake, and suddenly I was in 7th position. And then I start to slowly get better, get confidence with the track, got to 2nd position and tried to get Olsen, but then was too late. Olsen is a very consistent rider. I mean, he's always there. Even if you think he's not there, he's still on the podium.
Beating Prado is definitely difficult. He gets a good start every time, and I'm definitely starting to be closer to him in the starts, and I'm getting better with that, but I still need a little bit more consistency. I got a win over him in Indonesia, and that was an awesome race for me. Everything just clicked, and that's some of the feelings I want to get back. That's what I need to get back to.
The scene is set and the sun is shining. Patatang de Samarang for the MXGP of Asia.
I had a big crash in Indonesia in that second moto where I crashed in the start, and I banged my head pretty hard against the ground and got a small concussion. After that, I really took some time to rest and heal up and try and get ready for Czech Republic.
Back on track, and Maxime Renault's confidence was soaring. Backing up third in race 1 at the previous week, with second here after following Verlander and Pasvial, and then dispatching the Dutchman for second place on his SM Action MC Miliori Yamaha. Prado, though, with a 9th 1-1 of the season, continued his romp at the top of the standings.
With our Indonesian odyssey over, we've checked out of our hotel, checked in for our flights, and now we're here in picture-perfect Loket for the MXGP of Czech Republic.
Loket was a nice weekend because I was very happy to come back to Europe. It was the first race back after the 2 Indonesian rounds, and it's a track that I like. Already since the first time I raced there, the type of ground, that it's very, very special. I like it. I like the design. It's a natural design. Not so many jumps, and the jumps they have, it's more, they're natural. So it's a track that I always enjoy. And this year it was tough because it was a very bumpy track, and it was nice. It was a lot of fun, especially the second moto. I felt very good, and it was a very good weekend as well.
In MX2, Jorge Prado totally dominant again, making it 12 victories in 12 rounds raced, and stretching his lead over TKO to 90 points. While Henry Jacoby was back on the podium for the first time since Matterley. Hey Jorge, what are you doing here?
My new summer job.
In an ice cream shop?
Yeah, between races, to disconnect a little bit of motocross.
Your red plate is over there, your bike is there behind you. What is your connection with this ice cream shop?
When I came first time to Belgium, the woman from this ice cream shop, Annick, was always very friendly to us and helped us a lot. My mother, my sister were always with her, and she helped us a lot. So she's she's a big part of our family as well.
Ah, cool. Yeah. And free ice cream as well, which is always a bonus.
And ice cream as well. I came here the most of the times to get an ice cream after riding, so to get some energy, you know?
Jorge Prado is also now within touching distance of a second successive MX2 title, with TKO powerless to prevent the Spaniard from taking an 11th 1-1 of the season in Belgium. Jago Hit had the pace, but that proved too much for his Yamaha. 2 weeks later, and we're now in Italy for the third time this season, at historic Imola for the second successive year.
In Imola, I didn't get the whole shot because I brake a bit too early in both motos. So I was just trying to, get safe from the first corner and just know I'm on two wheels. So that was the main key, stay on two wheels after first corner, and then 2 starts, got quickly into the lead, and then ran out a good consistent race.
Jorge Prado was as imperious as ever. A 12th clean sweep of 2019 for the Spaniard, leaving him on the cusp of a second successive MX2 title. TKO losing ground again in second place, while there was a career first visit to the podium for Maxime Renault. We're now in Uddevalla for the 16th round of the FIM Motocross World Championship season. Just a third place finish in race 1 will be enough for Prado to clinch the title in MX2. Stay tuned to see how he gets on at the Mxgp of Sweden.
Well, the week before Sweden, I didn't touch my bike, just to make sure I arrived to Sweden. It was nice getting there also and getting the World Championship with my whole team over there and my family, of course.
Time to float down to earth for race 2 then, and it was Shanghai that took the early lead before Vial's pace took him past. Prado struggled with no clutch after an early fall. Vial himself, though, made a slip that let Calvin Verlanderen into the lead late on for his first race win of 29, while Vial came home second to take a maiden Grand Prix victory on a golden day for Red Bull KTM.
For our 2019 finale, we are in Shanghai as MXGP visits China for the very first time. Here, we're lucky enough to experience a real taste of the Orient.
Prado's flurry of whole shots in MXoN came to an end in Shanghai. Instead, it was Vial that took an early lead, before his hope of beating Hirt to third in the championship took a blow here. The Frenchman was soon back on the move though, but wherever he went, a Hirt-shaped shadow could not be shaken as the Belgian kept a watching brief in both races, which was enough to clinch that precious bottom step of the championship podium. But another perfect weekend for Prado resulted in race wins 30 and 31 and a record 213-point championship winning margin over Thomas Kjær Olsen. For Hirt's third was a fantastic return in just his second full season in MX2, whilst Olsen will hope that runner-up is just a step to the big one in 2020. Jorge Prado, though, was our runaway champion for 2019. Musical chairs was the game of choice in the off-season for the MXGP riders. Red Bull KTM kept hold of Jeffrey Hurlings and Tony Cairoli, But Glenn Koldenoff was on the move to standing construct KTM, where he was joined by Max Anstey from Husqvarna and Ivo Monticelli. Rockstar Energy Husqvarna needed 2 riders, in fact, after Gauthier Paulin left to join Arno Tonis at Monster Energy Wilvo Yamaha. To that effect, they brought in Arminas Jasikonis from Honda and 2017 MX2 World Champion Pauls Jonas on his move up to the Premier class. Paulin's move to Wilvo could only happen after Jeremy Seewer's shift up to the factory Yamaha team, where he joined 2015 World Champion Romain Fevre. And there were no changes at either Team HRC or Monster Energy Kawasaki factory racing team. Tim Geiser was partnered by a fit again Brian Bogas at HRC, while Clement Desal and Julien Lieber teamed up once again at Kawasaki.
However, there will be one notable absentee in Argentina. Our defending MXGP World Champion Jeffrey Hurlings is out of action with a broken foot, so there'll be no repeat of his stunning win here to kickstart his championship challenge from last year.
Before the season I made some changes. They were positive. When we started the season I felt that I was really close to 100%. You know, I couldn't wait that season start.
The track here in Patagonia is always incredibly popular with the riders. With its volcanic soil and big elevation changes, the riders can really get their teeth into this one, with the cream usually rising to the top.
After an opening race in which Tony Cairoli charged through the field to win after problems in qualifying, the Sicilian was able to do it again in race 2 as well, leaving Geiser and Romain Fevre trailing in his roost. Fevre was then caught out by the infamous wave section and suffered a broken ankle that would keep him out of action until Portugal. There was no stopping Cairoli though, leaving Geiser in second in both races, with Jeremy Van Horbik a surprise third on his private Honda SR Motor Blues machine.
That's it from Argentina. We're prepared. And we'll see you for round 2 in Matterley at the end of the month.
Yeah, in Matterley was like, you know, that's one of my favorite tracks. So I was really looking forward to going there. First one, I was behind Tony and then make a quick pass on him. I think first or second lap, something like that. And started putting like fast laps in and already make a quite comfortable lead. I was, I think, like 6-7 seconds ahead of him. And I was still pushing. And then I had a big crash. I hit quite hard the ground, I remember that. And then I bounced back on my legs. I continued riding on 3rd place, I think. Tony and Gauthier, they passed me. Quite soon I came back, started putting good lap times, but it was not enough, so I finished like 3rd. Then second moto, I had a good start. Again, make a quick pass on Tony, make a comfortable lead, and finally win my first heat after quite a long time.
Cairoli then took another dominant GP win in Valkenswaard before the paddock moved on to an atmospheric Arco in Trentino.
Arco is always something special. The fans, they made sport, you know, different.
Here we are fans from Team Geiser. We come here every year for 3 years in a row. It's amazing atmosphere. It's close to us, and the whole hill is yellow. That's it. That's why we come.
Go Team Geiser! We're cheering for you!
We are here for you, team! Just go! Full gas! Full gas!
That first moto, when I passed Tony, in front of them, you know, in the corner there, like you said, they say Geyser corner. You know, it was something special because I can really hear everybody there, you know, and it was something special to win there.
Cairoli is alongside Geyser. Geyser knows he's there. He's got to stay patient as well, hasn't he, Geyser? Try not get flustered, but try saying that when you've got a 9-time world champion behind you. He's also the championship leader. And Cairoli right there, and a mistake from Geyser. Geyser runs wide, and Tony Cairoli gets their fans on the feet here. And lap 9 was Cairoli time. And here is Geyser. He's been fast here, and he goes up the inside. Geyser leads again on lap 14. Tony Cairoli, I wonder if his concentration was just broken there at the top of the hill. And Geyser caught him napping. Oh, and Geyser, Cairoli. How did he stay up there? And Geyser goes defensive. Cairoli comes around the outside. Oh, he buries his wheels in the ground again, and they almost touch coming over the jump. Cairoli goes through. Wow. And another mistake. Cairoli goes down. And that is the GP decided. Cairoli picks himself up. Wow.
It's just unbelievable, you know, all the fans. After, you know, under the podium where we sing together Slovenian anthem with them, you know, was really emotional. And, you know, it was also like first GP that I won after like nearly 2 years. So yeah, I was really happy at that moment.
Can Geyser continue to put the 9-time champion Cairoli under the most extreme of pressure? This is the Monster Energy MXgp of Lombardia.
Mantova, let's say the toughest one this season. I think I had in both motos the fastest lap of the race, but I couldn't make a pass. It was one main line. The bike just stopped and I went over the handlebar. The gap was like getting bigger and bigger. It was 40 points, so that's nearly almost one GP.
The season is still really long, but we try to make a good racing every weekend and try to stay safe. This is the goal, and of course today it was really important to have a good start and stay in front and stay clean, and that's what we did. And okay, looking forward for the next one in Portugal. It's a track that I like again, and hopefully to see again a lot of people there.
I start to realize that, you know, I have to change something. I have to, you know, not put so much pressure on myself. And also I spoke with my girlfriend, and she just told me that I just have to go out there without any pressure, just have fun and try it like you know, and everything on the end, it's gonna be okay.
That change of mentality seemed to work a treat for Geyser. He beat Cairoli in both races in Agata for his second GP win of the year and closed the gap in the championship standings. There was also an emotional first podium of 2019 for Arno Tonis after missing all of the previous season due to surgery on both shoulders.
Forward a week, and here we are at the Nouvelle Aquitaine region of France, ready to take on the track at Saint-Jean d'Angely for the second successive year.
It's my 250th Grand Prix, and when I was young I never was dreaming about it or never was thinking about it, and it came like a surprise for me also. I'm really proud for myself that I could manage so many Grand Prix and still going.
It was a great GP for me. I think it was a perfect GP. I was even faster in free practice, time practice, quali race I won. Warm up, I was first, and then both motos.
While Geyser was blazing away at the front of the pack, TC, Tony Cairoli, 222, endured a nightmare in race 2. A bad start left him near the back of the pack. his progress not helped by a mid-race crash, and then a collision with Ivo Monticelli. Cairoli eventually came home in 17th place. He still held on to that precious red plate, but his advantage was now vastly reduced.
This track at Saint-Jean-d'Angely has served up a full three-course meal of fast and furious action. A maiden MXGP win for Tim Geiser in France, Arnaud Tonus on the podium again, and an emotional third place for local hero Roman Febvre. That means a first podium without KTM since Sweden 2017, and two Yamahas on the box for the first time in more than 3 years. Tony Cairoli's championship lead now down to just 10 points. Welcome to the 8th round of the FIM Motocross World Championship. We're here in southern Russia, close to the Black Sea, and we finally found some sun. This is the Patron Mxgp of Russia.
It's been a long time off. Last race was Red Bull, like main race, and it's been like 9 months or so. It's still gonna take a few more weeks or maybe months till I'm back at my old level. Most of all, just happy to be back and represent my team. You know, Red Bull KTM. They, you know, it's been tough for them also. You know, just with Tom on the line, and I was injured, so it's a bummer I let my team down. But hey, I'm back for more.
While Herlings returned to the paddock with a valiant 4th place overall, one of MXGP's big hitters unfortunately suffered a season-ending injury.
The crash happened so fast. I didn't really understand. You know, I don't know. I think like a bad situation, like in a wrong bumps with maybe a stone or kind of small part of dirt there. I don't know, but I get a big kick of it and then a big crash.
Tim Geiser made it 6 race wins in a row to complete a stunning turnaround in the MXGP Championship standings, turning a 40-point deficit into a 13-point lead over Tony Cairoli, who was far from his brilliant best in Russia. The Slovenian was pushed all the way by Arnaud Tonus in Orleanoc, while a milestone was reached for Jeremy Seewer, finding himself on the MXGP podium for the first time.
It's always nice to come back for my home GP. It's a bit exciting, it's a bit maybe more stressful than a usual GP, but of course I really love to ride at my home track in front of my home crowd.
Cairoli will try to find his way down the inside. He does. Takes back over the lead. Herlings in third. But Cairoli on the ropes as well as Tonus goes through. Oh, that's going to do Geiser a favour by about 3 more points, I would think. Herlings plans an attack here. They are absolutely bar to bar. He will see the flash of orange and Herlings makes a mistake. Has nowhere to go, has to use the bank. And a mistake from Tonus. I wasn't sure if Herlings was going to make the way around the outside. He went wide, but a bobble going into the turn. I thought he might just be there to rescue it, Tonus.
Yeah, it's a shame. On the starting lap I had a crash, and just a small one, but Jesse Connors rode over my bad feet. So now I'm going to make X-rays because I have so much pain meanwhile riding now. It's unbelievable. So I'm going to get quickly to see the doctor, and hopefully I can line up second moto. But yeah, riding was good, but I had so much pain. So yeah, hope to see you guys second moto again.
Unfortunately, the Bullet wasn't able to take to the gate for race 2 in Latvia with a broken bone in his right ankle. And another catastrophe was about to hit the Red Bull KTM team.
After the crash in Russia on Saturday, we already had some damage on the shoulder, and the week before Latvia was very, very difficult because I felt there was something was not really going well on my shoulder, and the power on my arm was very not much power. So this was also the reason why I crashed in Latvia, because I couldn't hold the handlebar so well. So the first time I get this kick, I went over the bars and I make more damage. Of course, it's a long time before I can be back on the bike, but the season is finished for me, and I'm focused now on trying to get back as soon as possible.
Meanwhile, Geiser surged to victory in race 2 to take an unlikely GP win ahead of Roman Fevre and Jeremy Seewer, leaving the Slovenian in the box seat in the championship standings, with Seewer now his closest rival. With Cairoli on the sidelines, Geiser went about extending his championship lead. A 1-1 followed in Germany, and then another Grand Prix victory at the first of 2 Indonesian rounds in Palembang, as Fevre picked up his first race win of the season. The Honda rider then took another double win in Semarang, making it 7 Grand Prix wins in a row, while Seewer grabbed his 3rd podium of the year. Geiser's lead was now 173 points over the Yamaha rider, with 6 Grand Prix remaining as the paddock headed back to Europe.
So elbows out for the 13th round of the FIM Motocross World Championship, the MXgp of Czech Republic.
Well, I was quite happy to finish 2 times second. Roman was really fast.
The road was really long, so happy. The perfect weekend. I think I did everything won. Only the free practice I was second, so really happy about my riding. My speed was really good, the start as well. So finally the victory 1-1. It's really great. And I have one word for my stepmother. You can clean the garage now. Thank you.
Brilliant. Congratulations. Thanks very much.
Coming to Lommel, I kind of like always prepare myself mentally to go there, because we know that the track is going to be really tough, especially on Sunday. I managed to make 2 solid starts. First one, lead couple of laps, and then Roman passed me. I say like I don't want to risk, so I was like comfortably sitting on the 2nd place. But I saw when I came in the finish, and when we shake the hands, I saw that he was like really on the end. I mean, like he didn't have energy anymore. Second moto take a whole shot, lead couple of laps, and then Max came and passed me. Max is really strong in the sand, and he can go really fast. And I say like if I finish second, it's okay. Then he make a mistake, he fell, and I was again in the lead. I kind of like leave him to pass me, and I was on the 2nd place. You know, winning the GP was fantastic, because you know when you win in Lommel, it means something.
After a 2-week break, Geiser arrived in Imola with a 187-point lead over Seewer in the standings. That meant that just an 8th place finish in race 1 would be enough to clinch his 2nd MXgp title.
Imola, when I wake up on Sunday morning, I was tired, because I didn't sleep a lot, and I know that it's one of the most important days of my life. I was quite aggressive in the beginning. I tried to come in the lead as soon as possible, make a couple of mistakes, even fell. I managed to make a couple of passes to come on the 5th place. When I finished the line, it was like another dreams came true.
After all that, Tim dusted himself down to finish 2nd in race 2, while Seewer continued his own charge towards 2nd in the championship, with a first ever 2nd overall in the class. Meanwhile, Glenn Koldenoff closed out a maiden double win of his MXGP career to clinch a first Grand Prix victory since 2015, but it was Geiser that went home clutching that precious gold plate.
Definitely excited. You know, it's been a while since I've been racing, like 2 months back in Latvia. So we've only spent a few days on the bike, so we're literally gonna see it as a practice. And yeah, whatever the result may be, you know, we don't really mind about the result right now. We just took all that as a practice, and we'll do the best as we can.
Herlings was determined to test his fitness to the max. Winning Saturday's qualifying race, he then led for more than 20 minutes in race 1 on Sunday, before the exhausted Dutchman started dropping down the rankings, eventually crashing out. Compatriot Glenn Koldenoff took yet another race win ahead of Roman Febvre.
There was a dramatic finale as this move on Paul Jonas on the last lap of race 2 saw Glenn Koldenoff secure a second consecutive GP win, just ahead of newly crowned champion Tim Geiser. There was a horror moment for Roman Febvre though. The Frenchman was racing hard before this incident saw him break his femur, bringing a premature end to his season. Roll on 2 weeks and we're now here in Afyon for the second successive year. Let's see how they get on at the penultimate event of the season, the MXgp of Turkey. Jeffrey Herlings rolled back a year with a stunning performance in MXgp to take a 1-1 thanks to a worldie of a pass on his compatriot Glenn Koldenoff. Well, Jeremy Seewer moves ever closer to closing out a second in the championship. And with that, the sun sets on Europe for another year. We now pack our bags for the season finale, meaning a long trip east for our first ever visit to Shanghai for the inaugural MXgp of China.
MXGP's first ever visit to China was an interesting experience for all involved, as we were faced with the splendour of Shanghai and a whole new culture. On the brand new track on the outskirts of the city, second and third in the championship standings were still up for grabs, while others were simply looking for form ahead of the Monster Energy FIM Motocross of Nations.
Jeffrey Herlings leaving it late, but coming through to edge Dutch compatriot Glenn Koldenoff to cap an entertaining first ever MXgp visit to Shanghai, while Jeremy Seewer clinched second in the championship. A late season surge of form for Koldenoff, seeing him move past Gauthier Paulin into third.
A resurgent Arno Tonis finished fifth, just ahead of Paul Jonas and Arminas Jasikonis, as Jeremy Van Horbeek rounded out the top 8.
Already really looking forward to 2020. Many big names, I mean, really good riders gonna line up in MXGP class, and I think we're gonna have exciting races and really interesting.
2020 will be for sure interesting. We will be 7 world champions racing the MXGP class, so as you can imagine, it's a very good level. So I need to get prepared and ready to face next season full in shape.
The MXGP World Championship now hibernates for the winter, but we'll be back in just 2 weeks' time for the biggest event of the year, as the Monster Energy FIM Motocross of Nations rolls into Assen for a fitting end to 2019.
Thanks to a monumental effort from the Dutch Army, a sandy heaven awaited the riders at the Cathedral of Speed that is the TT circuit in Assen. Team Netherlands arrived as standout favourites to claim a first ever Motocross of Nations title, but expected to be pushed hard by a strong Belgian lineup, a confident Team USA, and of course France, who were aiming for a 6th consecutive title and led yet again by Gauthier Paulin.
Winning Motocross of Nations, there is a world title behind. it's not only Motocross of Nations, so there is plenty of tough team with many strong country. So we know it, we are aware of it, we are aware that the track is really tough, and we're part of the game, so let's enjoy it.
It was very special, especially coming next to the tribunes on the back. You know, when you are all the Dutch fans screaming, and when we pass by, it's like you just hear it going with you, so it's pretty amazing.
In the opening race for MXGP and the MX2 riders, there was a worst possible start for Team USA, as Jason Anderson and Justin Cooper came together in catastrophic fashion. At the front though, Tim Geiser took the win ahead of a hard-charging Jeffrey Hurlings and Jorge Prado in his first competitive debut on a 450. Oh, he does double his way through. He's going for it. He's hanging off the back of this KTM, and Hurlings into the penultimate corner. Did he get the distance on the jump? He's over on the left-hand side.
He's got a left rider blocking him.
Another rider taking him wide. Geiser wins. He beats the greatest sand rider in the world in race 1 on home soil here. Race 2, the MX2 and Open riders, was dominated by the bigger bikes, with the Netherlands taking control as Glenn Koldenhoff dominated, just as he did last year in Redbud. The pressure was on in race 3, but Koldenhoff duly delivered, repeating his 1-1 from 2018, while a last lap disaster for Paul Land saw France fall off the podium. The Netherlands were world champions at last after 73 years of hurt, and King Willem-Alexander was also delighted to be there in person. Problems for France meant an unlikely third consecutive third-place finish for Team Great Britain, while Belgium finished strong in second place. But the Netherlands and their incredible home crowd were the clear winners here at Assen.
The crowd was amazing today. Every single lap I came by the grandstands, I heard them, and it's been an amazing weekend and something we will never forget, that's for sure.
So the party's going to go on here till late at night, and we're going to enjoy ourselves after a fitting finale to 2019. But we'll see you next year in 2020 for some more MXGP action. Bye-bye.